Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. So today I have a super interesting unboxing for you. This is the Coda EDC Flute is what it is technically called. This is a super interesting instrument to me because it was designed by an ocarina maker, and it's fairly similar to an ocarina. In the way that it produces sounds, although the fingerings are quite different. Anyway, it's fairly similar to an ocarina, and it was designed by this ocarina maker to be EDC, which is his acronym for Everyday Carry. So this is supposed to be a super lightweight and durable and portable instrument that you can take just about anywhere. So let's open it up and see how it looks. Okay, here we go. This is a little bit of a spoiler because it comes in a clear box, but we'll open it up and see what it's like. Okay, so here is the EDC Flute, the Coda. I like that logo. So this is just a fascinating little instrument. I have a soft spot in my heart for more recently designed instruments, like instruments that were just recently invented, that are sort of like improvements on more historical instruments that have sort of veered so far off that they're new instruments in their own right. So this is fairly similar in its sound production to an ocarina. It has a little fipple in there, and then it goes into the chamber, so it's basically a vessel flute, which an ocarina also is. But these holes and fingering systems are totally newly designed to be able to have 2 octaves of chromatic range on this little tiny instrument, from C5 all the way up to C7. So it has a really impressive range. According to the FAQ on their website, it also is not inflicted with the ocarina problem of really loud high notes and really soft low notes. So we're going to play around with it and see what this sounds like, because that's a big promise for a tiny instrument. One of my favorite things about this Coda EDC flute is that it's completely made here in America. The inventor invented it here. He fabricates the plastic parts. They are food and medical grade safe, so it's good plastic. And he puts them together also in his workshop, so they are completely American made, which is kind of cool. Okay, let's see what else is in that box. We've got, oh, this adorable little pouch. That's super cute. It feels really nice too. It's very silky. Oh, a valuable gift is included with your purchase. Oh, free copy of an ebook, 300 folk songs from Ireland, Scotland, England, and Wales. Ah, that's really cool. I'm gonna have to check that out because I love free music. There are some silencers that go with it, and I'm gonna try these out so you guys can hear. It's supposed to be sort of like the Mr. Mute for an ocarina. It's supposed to be a way to practice super quietly, which is very attractive to me as a mom during nap time, and sometimes the only time I get, so that's great for that. Okay, here's another little envelope, and in here we have, oh, okay, these are like, oh my gosh, so these are like little business cards, but inside is the fingering chart, which I think is just the most brilliant idea for an instrument that is designed to be carried with you anywhere. Even the fingering chart is easy to carry around. I love this. I get honestly kind of irritated with some of my fingering charts because, you know, they're just on regular paper and they're like a whole sheet, and I have to fold them funny to fit into the flute storage area. So this is awesome. I'm super excited. It comes with 3 of these just in case you lose one. Okay, this is really cool. This is basically just like the little guide to using your Coda, which is awesome that there's such an in-depth explanation of this, talking all about why he designed it the way that he did, how you can cover the holes effectively, how you clean the coda, all this stuff in here. It's very cool. And then you've got this really big piece. This is a big fingering chart, so you can more clearly see all of the notes, just in case you may not be able to read the tiny print on the business cards. And it also, here's more fingering chart, it also has songs to get started with. So just in case you can't download the 300 free songs right away, you've got these in here. Okay, now that I have played around with this for a little bit, I'm going to do a little demonstration for you. But first I want to point something out. If you are experienced with the ocarina, or if you are another woodwind player and you just pick up this instrument, you might think, okay, this is a thumb hole and this is a thumb hole because they are both very large holes. That would not be the case. That will make your upper octave sound super out of tune and you will be very confused. Much like I was for about 20 minutes there. So, just to be clear, this tiny little hole right here is where the right thumb goes. This hole near the bottom, which is larger, is a tuning hole and should be left uncovered at all times. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and play the scale for you, the full 2 octaves from C to C, and I do want to be very clear that I did just pick up this instrument today, so it's certainly not going to sound as nice as the Coda can possibly sound, but this is an idea of what you can expect, especially if you are a beginner. So here we go. It starts on middle C. As you can see, that switch from chamber to chamber is a little bit tricky as you're first learning, and I'll kind of explain that to you because I don't think I went into that. So the neat thing about the EDC Coda is it's kind of like a double chamber ocarina, and that's how it's accomplished. That's how it accomplishes being able to produce 2 octaves of notes. So it has these 2 different sound chambers. There's a windway here and a windway over here. And this controls the higher octave and this controls the lower octave. The neat thing about it is you are using the same set of fingerings the whole time. So these control both the lower and the higher ones, and you don't have to do any switching. Which if you are like a flute player, you'll think, oh yes, it would be so weird for me to have to switch my fingers. But if you're an ocarina player who has played on multiple chamber ocarinas, you know that's a pain that comes with the territory. So they eliminated that. Okay, now I'm going to play for you this arrangement of Scarborough Fair from the paperwork that comes with the Coda flute. This one does have a B flat in it, which the fingerings are a little different to get used to, but I'm going to do my best. So here we go. So by and large, I feel like the EDC absolutely lives up to its hype. Especially, and this is my favorite bit, the high notes are not super loud and harsh, and the low notes are not super quiet and hidden away. I feel like they have a much more even tone than you get on a typical ocarina, which is very exciting. I love it. It has a very pretty tone. Despite being entirely plastic, I don't think it really impacts the sound at all because it sounds beautiful. One thing I do want to reassure anyone who is thinking about getting this, you see that the sound holes have like, they're half covered sometimes. I'm not sure why he designed it that way, but there is no point where you're having to cover like half of a hole. All of the chromatic fingerings, so not diatonic, are just like, so this is B flat. You're just using a few extra fingers in rather odd places rather than having to cover half a hole. I find that just beyond confusing personally. I know other people are better at it, but not my forte. Okay, so I've installed the silencers. They just kind of, you stick them in the back here. These are the little kind of sound holes where the sound comes out. So this is for the upper chamber, this is for the lower chamber, and you just kind of stick them in there. And then, I'm gonna have to get really up close and personal with you right now. But you can sort of hear how this affects the sound. So, I'll go ahead and play for you. So you sort of get like that little hint of like, oh yes, this is the right note and what I'm supposed to be playing, but it's not at all loud enough for anybody to hear you, which can be super handy sometimes. And then they store really handily, I just saw this on the website, in the back, right here, you push them both into that little area, and they just hang out there. Very cool. So if you are interested in the EDC Flute, you can get those on Amazon, which I will put a link to down in the description. Or you can also buy it from the designer's website, which I will also put a link to down there. And he also has like a ton of resources on there all about the Coda. There's an FAQ. So if you have any more questions after this video, feel free to head over there or just ask me down in the comments below because I love talking to you guys. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day. Thank you all so much for watching. If you would like to subscribe to my channel, go ahead and click on that subscription button right up there. Otherwise, if you would like to join my Patreon or buy me a coffee, the links to those are down in the description. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day.